Yo, when I spit bars in a raid, man, I go hard like Santan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very much anticipated fight card brought to you by Touchline Fracas. I'm joined by four, well, not so merry men, seen as the way they've started this season. In the white side, we've got the Touchline Hotspur boys, and then in the red side, we've got the Touchy Gooners. Boys, how are we doing? I'm going to start with you, Cougs. How are you feeling after the start of this season?
You know what? I'm okay. I'm feeling measured at the moment. Yeah, I'm feeling very measured. The start of the season, my head was super hot, but I feel like tomorrow there's an opportunity for this team to win me back a little bit. Yeah, if you go in and you slap up Spurs, I can't be mad. Do you know what I mean? So tomorrow's an opportunity. If we don't win though, draw or loss, I'm on everyone's necks. So it's a 50-50 moment for me right now. Yeah.
I think that's very fair. And Sean, how are you feeling? I know you've been quite optimistic this season, so I want to hear from you especially.
Optimist? Where have you seen
listen,
optimism?
man. Operation Youth, man. That's I've been seeing a lot, man. But
listen, those are the only people that give me confidence in the team. But no, I'm not confident, man. I don't have faith in these guys, man. But yeah, we've had a little run. The performances still haven't been great. So, but North London derby, sometimes form doesn't matter. I feel like tomorrow will be an interesting game because both teams haven't scored a lot, so it might just be a case of the team who scores first wins. So yeah, both teams struggle to come from behind. So yeah, fingers crossed, man. But it'll be a tough game.
Fair enough. I'm going to over to the NSO side of London. How are you feeling after the start of this season?
Same as I have been for the last 3 seasons, to be honest. Just very indifferent. I made a conscious decision in life not to make this team do any damage to my cholesterol, my blood pressure, my resting heart rate. We went top of the table with 3 wins. I said it doesn't matter. Give it 3 more weeks, and then look what happened. But yeah, it is what it is, man. But like Coog said, as long as we slap the scum, I'm easy. Do you know what I mean?
Damn, the stick till we start, man. Coog, have you got any reply to that?
Fam, he said slap who? Slap who? Slap where? This is the Emirates. This ain't no small playground. You get what I'm saying? So you man don't win here. I think it's 1 win in the last, however, like 20 something plus years, and that was 11 years ago that win. So that would be a momentous result for you, man, to come here and beat us. So I think the most you can hope for is a draw, man. That's you know that as well. So I don't think anyone's getting slapped.
You never know,
on the
man.
red side of North London, anyways.
A couple man have been taking dance lessons from Jesse Lingard. Anything can happen, man. You know what I mean?
I like that one. I see where you're on today.
You see us talk about other teams. You get me? You can't talk no credentials.
Okay,
no credentials.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And Jack, I don't think I've been in the podcast with you, so I want to hear especially from you. So, how are you feeling about Tottenham's start of the season? Are you optimistic about tomorrow's game? I know you guys haven't got the best of records at the Emirates. So, what do you think could change this?
I'm not optimistic about anything with this club, but you know what? Bring it, because we win there every 11 years, and this is the 11th year. So let's see what happens.
And numbers, man. You got the stats on deck. So yeah, I'm gonna start with you guys again. After the start of the season, you guys started with an electric form against City, winning 1-0. You also won the game. You also won a couple other games. I think against Wolves as well, another 1-0. But I know you guys haven't been very convinced of Nuno ball so far. So walk me through that. With the point of Nuno, how are you feeling so early on in the season?
Jack loves a bit of Nuno ball, so I let him take this one.
Wow, fair enough. He's chucked you right in there, bro. He's chucked you right in there.
Honestly, I didn't want this guy as manager in the first place. I called him sugar-free Jose, innit? This guy, he plays the same football, but he doesn't have the charisma. He's not as funny. He's not as entertaining in his press conferences as a person. He keeps himself to himself. He's a nice guy, I'm sure. He's a very nice guy. He looks like one of my Bengali uncles, but you know what? I'm not feeling the football. I'm not feeling his pragmatism. We're literally contradicting ourselves as a club, with Daniel Levy sending us that long ass email about how we want this Tottenham DNA, whatever the hell that means, and we want to have attacking football, high pressing, high whatever that means. Basically, I don't want Tottenham DNA because our DNA is pants. But you know, we hired a sporting director who prefers to have a more defensive-minded manager, and he's got his man. And I don't know. Well, all I'm saying is, if Arsenal don't beat us, that, like you said, Dan, you're right to get on everyone's necks because, boy, this is we're in terrible form, and this team as well, especially a team that will probably play Winks and Skip. If you don't beat us, we're all coming for you. We're all coming for you.
You mentioned them there, the sugar-free Jose. You mentioned them Paratici's love for the defensive manager. So, have you seen any defensive strength so far being displayed from Tottenham? Anything different from last season? Or is it a lot more structured, or is it a bit more of the same?
It's a bit of both. Like a strong similarity is that whatever attacking plan we may or may not have is not remotely sustainable. Like we actually managed to sustain the 1-2 Kane Son counterpunch last year for a lot longer than we have this year. Again, Nuno was 17th choice manager or something like that. I personally wanted XG Graham Potter or Ralph Ragnick, but you get what you're given these days, get scraps. But yeah, I have to give him small credit. So, to make Eric Dyer look like a competent defender is a masterstroke in and of itself, if I'm being honest. To be fair, I haven't paid too much attention to our games in the effort to stay awake, but I haven't seen many glaring errors from Dyer himself. Sanchez before the Copa America break was looking pretty good. I think both of them, and again the bar is kind of on the floor here, but they both should have been in contention for Player of the Month at the beginning of the season. I'd say when we press, we do look a bit more coordinated. It seems to be like we are waiting for pressing triggers rather than man just running around like Tupac. Do you know what I mean?
No more shouting press from the sideline.
No more of that. Thankfully, it actually looks like the team actually knows when to do it in certain pressing zones, trigger zones. Sorry. And then lastly, what I do like, Sai said it on our pod just gone, but it seems that whilst we do sit back rather than just like two banks of four, it does seem like we do like sort of congest the middle and we force teams out wide. But then obviously teams that are really good out wide are really going to hurt us. So yeah, the bar is very low in terms of
it is quite low
balance.
It does seem that the bar is quite low in North London in totality. So I'm going to go over to the red side. You guys started the complete opposite of Tottenham. You started off quite slowly. Back to back losses to Brentford, Chelsea, and City, I believe. But then it seems that you guys have turned the tide around. You've beaten Burnley, I believe. So, how are you guys feeling with your signings, especially? I'm going to start with you, Coops.
To be honest, I feel like there's not really that much to analyze from an Arsenal perspective. I think we've got our players in now. I think the first game against Brentford, there were a lot of excuses. Players had COVID. You're missing a lot of big personalities, this, that, and the other. But for me, I feel like our team was still probably good enough to not get sort of done 2-0 by Brentford. Chelsea, Man City, I know a lot of people have said, they're champions of Europe, champions of England, this, that, and the other. We probably weren't going to pick up the 3 points. But what I think we really lacked in those two games was the competitive spirit. Like you see the first game, City versus Spurs. Spurs were a lot more competitive despite them, not having Kane, not having Ndombele, not having Romero, not having Emerson. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of big name players, I think, missing in that game, but their manager put them out of the game plan. It was like a sort of a narrow front three. They pressed City and they got a result. And I feel like that's probably where I feel the most sort of disheartened with this team is that, certain men, they don't really want to fight for the shirt. They don't really want to put up a good performance. They don't want to win their duels. Probably not capable of winning their duels. And so when you can't do that, you're just gonna lose 3 points. You're just giving away 3 points. Teams turn up, drop a 4 out of 10, and they walk away with the win. So I think we have been slightly better in the last two games against Norwich and Burnley. I would expect probably some bigger score lines. I think Norwich are the worst team in the league by a landslide. And Burnley, you know, I know people say Turf Moor's a tough place to go. They haven't won at home in 15 matches. We, I think, have conceded 1 goal against Burnley in the last sort of 8 attempts at Turf Moor. So for me, that's a place we go to pick up 3 points. So I'm not really, you know, going to be shouting from the rooftops that we beat Burnley away. So what I need to see in this game, I need to see us take Tottenham at their game. You know, I think they're going to probably deploy a similar pressing system to what we saw against Chelsea. That was successful for 45 minutes, I feel. And they're gonna come and try and play. And I feel like we need to match them. We need to compete, and we need to put them to the sword. As I said before, nothing less than a win is going to be acceptable for this game and for how I feel about the club and the manager.
You're nothing less than the game, and I'm going to come over to you, Sean. So, you know, I've been listening to you guys. You know, you guys are seeming a bit more positive about some of your signings. You know, and you know, as you coined them, Oyinbo, White, and Tomiyasu. You know, I've been listening, and you know, I've been watching. I want to hear from you, especially how they started off in their new reign at Arsenal. Have you been impressed, and how big of an impact do you think they can have against, you know, the strikers such as Harry Kane and Son? Because, you know, it's likely that they're going to be having like a 1v1 duel each anyway.
The main one I've been impressed with is Tomiyasu. Actually, he looks quite solid. I think for a lot of us Arsenal fans, obviously we hadn't seen him, so, you know, expectation wasn't like high, and, you know, we hadn't formed like, you know, big opinions prior to him joining. So what I've seen, you know, I've been pleasantly quite surprised. I think a lot of us have generally, because, you know, it's nice to see a defender who wins his duels, who's very, very good and strong in the tackle, and he has good agility, despite someone being, you know, he's a 6'2" right back, which isn't common. But you know, he looks a lot better than that Emerson Royale they've got across the road, in it. So yeah, I can't complain too tough about Tomiyasu. As for Benny Oyibo, I'm not too sure about that one, mate. Do you know what I mean? We spent 50 mil on him. But you're questioning, you know, whether the one we sent on loan to Marseille, he doesn't. I said it from the start, you know, he's not as good as Saliba, and that's the harsh reality of it. And, you know, when you spend 50 million on a centre back, he needs to be transformational, and the guy he hasn't been transformational. Obviously, still early days. You give him time, but, you know, when I've just picked up Tomiyasu in terms of what he does, in terms of winning his duels, being strong in the tackle, and even advancing well with the ball. You know, Ben White is supposed to be a top ball playing centre back. Haven't really seen that so far. So yeah, it's a bit of a worry tomorrow for him. You know, I think probably the benefit is that, you know, Kane isn't someone who runs in behind anymore. He doesn't have you know, he doesn't stretch defenders. He's always looking to drop deep. So that might benefit him. You know, he might not be directly up against someone. What he might have to be wary of is, you know, Son's runs from out to in, you know, in between the fullback and the centre back is probably what he's going to have to pay attention to. So both him and Tomiyasu. So let's see. I'm more confident in Tomiyasu. You know, the last time we played Spurs, Gabriel Padlock came, and I think he'd do it again. So yeah. So I'm looking. So hopefully, it's not even actually, funnily enough, it's not even the defence that I'm so worried about with Arsenal. It's what we try to do going forward, because we scored 2 goals in 5 games. That's pretty much where our problems are.
It does seem to be attacking problems that are a bit of a problem on both sides of North London. So I'm going to come over to you. You know, so I've been following you guys. You know, I've been seeing, you know, Kane hasn't exactly had the best of starts this season. We all know about, you know, the Harry Kane in August thing, but we're late in September now, and we still got no goals in the Prem. So do you think that can change in the weekend? And what do you think can really aid to that? Do you see Ben White as being able to contain Harry Kane in his threat?
I think the thing with Harry Kane, you know, we're never ever worried about him. We know he'll come good at some point. You know, there's been times he's not. Everyone's always saying, he doesn't score in August, and then he does. Or I said there was one year he didn't score in August, and he won the Golden Boot following year. We're not worried about when Kane's going to turn up. That's for the other side of North London to worry about their supposed star striker. But Kane always turns up in North London derbies. That he's got a pretty good record against Arsenal, and, you know, I think it's a fair comment that Gabriel had. I wouldn't say padlocked him, but, you know, had maybe the slightly better day when they played against each other. But you know, Ben White is a definite area that Kane can get into. I think, you know, he did say a little while ago that he watched The Last Dance and he wanted to try and contribute to the game plan more than the final third. I think it works sometimes, but I think overall it probably doesn't. Like, yes, he got 23 goals, 14 assists last year, which is fantastic for him. And there were some games where it was mad tight. That would be the difference. But I think as he's getting a bit older, and fingers crossed he doesn't pick up any more knocks, we are going to need him to do just a bit more number 9 work and a bit less Tom Brady work, to be honest. But then again, at the same time, I almost can't blame him for dropping deep when nothing's happening in the middle. Yes, Tapinto is absolutely right. Both clubs stink anyway. But yeah, if we haven't got anything coming through the middle, if Dele Alli decides to just do what he's been doing as of recent, then not a lot is going to happen. But I'm pretty confident Kane, Kane scored a good goal against Wolves. Yes, he doesn't do a lot of running in behind, but he still does have that little 5 to 10 yard burst that can just take away if a defender's sleeping. So yeah, if Dele Alli decides to play properly and playing through the middle, a Kane brace could be on the cards tomorrow, to be honest.
So you are sounding quite bullish then. I'm going to come with you, Jack. So, Son, you did get injured after your 4th game of the season, and it does seem like he's back for this game. So how are you feeling about his start to the season? Are you confident that he can really push on from last season and show a bit less of a purple patch and more of a consistent running form, going into this season? Because it's a big year. It will probably be a big year for him anyway after the new contract.
Sorry, who's that again?
It was Son. It was Son. I was asking how confident are you?
I mean, as long as Harry Kane shows, I think like I said, he needs to pick and choose when to drop deep, when he needs to play that Tom Brady role, and when he needs to play that number 9 role. I think there needs to be a better balance of that. And if they are, whenever they're in sync, it's crazy. There will be chances created. There will be goals. So I think they need to, both of them as a duo, need to find a way to expose the weaknesses of Arsenal. I think it all depends on how Kane plays really as well. Son's form, so I'm gonna depend it on that really. And yeah, I think what Harry Kane firstly needs to do, I think he's more of a physically, should be a bit more physically imposing on and target players like Ben White, who I think aerially aren't as strong. Who I think he needs to hold up the ball a lot more, and allow runners like Son and Mora as well around him to drift off him. So I think Son needs to rely on Harry Kane a lot this game, because I don't think he'll have much luck either wing, to be honest. I think if Tomiyasu's on the left or on the right, I think Son will find it a bit difficult considering Tomiyasu's recent form in the past few games. Kieran Tierney, we know what Kieran Tierney is about. So yeah, I think he has to be ultra reliant on how the supply is going to come to him, and I think Kane and Ndombele need to be there.
That is fair enough. And speaking of 2 danger men in the west side of North London, here I'm going to ask you: do you see any of Arsenal's players being a threat to you come Sunday? In the attack.
Do I see any Arsenal? I'm not even going to try and be a prick here. Let me be honest. I think.
Nah, be honest.
Yeah, I can be honest and a prick at the same time. You know what I mean? Aubameyang doesn't worry me. In all honesty, like being genuinely honest, Aubameyang doesn't worry me at all.
There's more chance of him being late to the game than actually, probably get the score.
He's going to do that. When the barber sprays in the hairline, that's probably why he'll be late to the game anyway. I wouldn't say Lacazette worries me, but if I had to pick one to be scared of out of the two, it would be Laka. Out between him and Aubameyang, he does love a pop shot outside the box against us. But probably Smith Rowe. I'd say Smith Rowe is the one we'll have to keep like a proper eye on, because he's a little bit more like, obviously him and Ødegaard do slightly different things. I think he's a bit more intense than Ødegaard. He's going to get more 1-2s around the corner and stuff, and it will be up to whoever's playing. Whoever's the more defensive or our centre mids or just the centre backs to just be a bit more aware of Smith Rowe's movement in comparison to Ødegaard. So I'd say probably Smith Rowe is the one I'd say keep a close eye on tomorrow.
I'm going to come over to you, Cougs, as well. Are there any main threats, outside the obvious Kane and Son that you worry about with Tottenham?
Nah, that's it though. Pep called them the Hurricane team. you know, and I don't think they've done much to sort of disprove that.
And then we beat them without Harry Kane every time.
Yeah. That's Man City, though, you know. So obviously Kane, his record goal scorer in this fixture, Premier League history. Son, you know, he likes to dive for a few pens at the Emirates, especially. So those are the two guys. I think outside of that, Lucas Moura, I don't know if he's fit yet, but I think he's probably the next main weapon that Spurs have. Ndombele will probably play, but you know he'll be blowing after 30 minutes. Then we won't see him again. So you know it's not really too much of a danger there. Off the ball, I think he's completely anonymous and a ghost, and I feel like we will probably dominate most of the ball. So I'm not too worried about Ndom. But it's funny because I think Spurs, they're not good, but they're dangerous because they have probably the best two finishers in the league that play in the same side. Son and Kane, they only need a half chance, really. So, you know, if you can't really give them the opportunities to shoot, we saw it last year at Spurs' ground. That Son goal was, you know, a ridiculous howitzer from like 35 yards. Kane, the game at the Emirates, the free kick that went into the wall, and I think he hit the second one, hit the post and whatnot. So, you know, these men are dangerous. So, you know, despite not being good, when you have shooters like that up top, you know, they win you points. And I think that's what they showed last season. I think Spurs were terrible last season, but Kane and Son, they get you points. So, you know, you can't sleep on them.
Very, very good point. And I'm surprised nobody mentioned Saka. I wanted to ask you guys about Saka. You know, I know he hasn't really had the best of them 2021s, you know, in terms of calendar year. You know, I think it's been quite a while since he scored. So I'm going to ask you, Sean, what do you think has been the cause of that? Do you think it's just been fatigue, or do you think Arteta needs to a bit more coaching when it comes to Saka?
To be fair, with Saka, yeah, I think he definitely he played a lot of minutes for Arsenal last season. Towards the end of the season, I definitely thought he fatigued. And some Arsenal fans didn't want him to go to the Euros, but you know, obviously it's a good experience and it was good for him. He played a lot. So and then he had 3 weeks off. But I can't lie to you.
Some would say it was a costly experience.
Well, I mean, you can say what you. I don't know why you're coming with this energy. You man lost this.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just asking questions. I'm here to host and ask questions.
I heard that as well, Babs. I'm just saying.
I lie. Well, but yeah, no. He's if I'm to be totally honest, he's been smelly a bit the start of this season. Saka. He's played on the left mostly. I'm not a fan of him there, as I feel like him and Tierney often step on each other's toes. So I'm hoping for this game we drop Pepe and move Saka back to the right. Saka came on midweek in the League Cup, and he looked better there. Obviously, albeit it was against limited opposition, but he looks a much bigger threat from the right. So I hope he goes back to the right and he starts there this game. So yeah, I just think he's still young in it. So you know, young players have their bouts of inconsistency. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good, which is just a normal port of call. So, but I hope, but I think he'll perform. I think he can give Reggaeton some problems, you know, and I hope we move ESR to the left for this game, because I remember last season he was cooking. What's that slapper? Doherty, yeah, he was cooking him. Him and Tierney had him. Him and Tierney. Yeah, they were slapping him.
We don't say that man's name.
Number two.
I believe you guys could number two.
Number two.
And he was cooking everyone, man. I helped him. He was coughing blood.
ESR was cooking. ESR was cooking everyone that game. So hopefully, yeah, we move him back there again this game. I kind of like him coming in from the left as a sort of wide playmaker, where he can combine with the fullback, but also he offers that threat centrally and runs in behind as well. So he's got quite a diversified threat. So I think he might be. As I said, probably one of our danger men tomorrow if we can use him well. In the last few weeks, he's been him and Odegaard have been used with Partey in a 4-3-3. I'm not entirely sure how well that's worked personally. I've not been a huge fan of it. And Arteta's boy, Xhaka's back from suspension tomorrow, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him go straight in. But yeah, man, let's talk about what's that slapper as well. Emerson Royale, that got cooked. What's it, bro? Every time I've seen this guy so far, yeah. Hey, Jesus. How much did you man spend on him? 25 mil.
You didn't get. You got quick versus Palace, but you weren't that bad versus Chelsea.
Boy, listen, this guy don't look good to me, but he does not look good to me, bro.
25. So what are you saying, Sean? He's looking like food come Sunday.
Brother, listen, I don't know, boy. He's Brazilian, yeah. Bro, this guy needs some more hard food, bro, because this guy don't look strong to me at all, bro. He looks like he can be bullied.
I think Tierney might munch him still.
Yeah, I think, bro.
Have him with a side of haggis.
The Brexit has really got you, man, innit?
Yeah,
these guys are sounding confident, man. Jack, what do you think about that? Because I think that's going to be a key battle tomorrow. You know, Arsenal do tend to attack off their left a lot, and you know, Tierney does seem to be the main threat, as we saw last year. You know, Ken Doherty, he really had a very, very torrid game, and I need to hear from you. How confident are you of being able to see that change come Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, as long as Tanganga's there, I don't think Tierney will be having the same game he had a few months back. So I think we'll have to see what happens there if we go with a back three and have Tanganga on the right side of the back three and have Emerson there, who, mind you, I don't think he was that bad against Chelsea. I thought going forward he was atrocious, but defensively I think he was okay versus Chelsea. Obviously got cooked against Zaha. I don't want to speak about that, but as long as, you know, even if we do go with a back four and we have Tanganga there, I think Tierney will have to, you know, there'll have to be a lot more work done on that left-hand side. And I think Smith-Rowe will have to be effective as well. Because, again, like Ohio said, I do respect him as a player. I think Smith-Rowe he's more effective and energetic than an Odegaard, who relies more on his attributes, I'll say. So, yeah, I don't think Emerson is that bad, man. You know, it's 2 games, man. 2 games.
Yeah, man, we got to let the agendas fly early, man.
The agenda got our agenda.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't think it was that bad against Arsenal defensively, but hey, man, you guys know me. I love an agenda, so I'm gonna let that one slide. So hi, I'm gonna come back to you. So one of the interesting things that we saw last season was that Son, you know, 35-yard ranger, you know, amazing goal. And it does look as though, you know, Arsenal, they are starting Ramsdale. You know, he does seem like he's going to be the main man. So do you think there may be a couple of times whereby, you know, you can catch him lacking, or do you think there'll be a couple of opportunities you can get from him? How are you feeling about seeing him in goal potentially?
You know, I think Son's going to be licking his lips. I think I'll have to give credit where it's due. I think Ramsdale has been slightly better than the entire footballing world thought he was going to be when Arsenal put the bag on him. But I think when you hear the name Ramsdale, or you see him in goal, like he's one of them guys. You got the ball 30 yards out, like, oh, fuck it, it's Ramsdale. Fuck it, it's Leno. Fuck it, it's Joe Hart. Fuck it, it's Jordan Pickford. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna let the thing go from range just because Ramsdale's playing. Like, there will be a couple pop shots. And Son loves a low XG shot from the left hand channel. So
he does.
It wouldn't surprise me if we get an R1 circle from him like early doors. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll give Ramsdale a bit of credit. Like, he looks pretty decent with the ball in his feet. But I'm not sure how effective that's going to be, because, like I said at the beginning, you know, we do congest it quite well in the middle. And the only real attack tends to come from Arsenal's left hand side. So I'm not really saying Ramsdale posed a threat in the first place, but anything he did pose a threat as, I think we can nullify that quick time.
Interesting. And, you know, I'm going to come back to both of you guys, you know, both sides of London. I think one of the big battles we're going to see tomorrow, it's going to be the battle between the 2 6s. You know, you got Pierre-Emerick, whatever his name is, Oil Burger, whatever his name is. And
only,
you got
only Pierre that you pay attention to in North London, yeah.
Damn, fair enough. I mean, you got Xhaka on the other side, you know. So who do you guys will think is going to be getting the better of that game, and how key do you think those two are going to be, you know, in terms of winning the game? I'm going to start with you, Sean.
So why did you mention Party, bro?
Why did I mention Party? I can't lie to you, man. This guy's probably at a festival somewhere, man. I just thought I'd mention some serious footballers.
Listen, Cougs just told me he was at another motive yesterday, bro. I said, I'm going to slap egg on this Don's head, you know. He better be man of the match tomorrow. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. If Party plays well, there's a good chance we'll win the game, bro. Because I'm going to be totally honest, out of all the centre mids on both teams, he's clear, bro. Do you know what I mean? The only issue is obviously he's not been fully fit. Every time he's sort of starting to build up ahead of steam, he gets another injury in it. So it was interesting. He played midweek in the League Cup. He got 60 minutes. So a lot of us didn't want him to play, but apparently he asked to play as well. So no, it was good for his fitness. So let's see how he gets on tomorrow. Do you, man, actually rate that Højbjerg Don? Because let me not lie, every time I've seen him, he looks wayward to me, man. He just goes around kicking people. What's his purpose?
Bro, he's a Viking. That's the first thing. Yeah, first thing on the CV is Viking. The thing is, I think other people think Højbjerg does one thing, and then we watch him and we know what he actually does in it. So I think people expect. I think it was even a Spurs fan, to be fair, that was like, Conte is who Spurs fans think Højbjerg in. It's like, whoa, no one's ever said that. Like, he's a box to box. Like last year, he played like predominantly as the pivot man, which I think is a little bit limiting of his physical attributes. Yes, he goes around kicking people, but Man City love a technical foul, so I don't really have a problem with that when it serves purpose to my team. But yeah, he's a very effective ball winner. He probably doesn't break the lines as much as we want him to in terms of his passing, but this year especially, like, he's become more of an actual box to box, and he carries very, very well, like drives through space quite well. So I don't know what other fans are expecting of Højbjerg. Maybe because we've just enjoyed his performances, we think is something else. I don't know in it, but yeah, very effective centre mid. You're not getting past him on a good day.
Yeah,
He's
as a
also
neutral. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say he's also good in the final third. You've seen it for Denmark in the Euros as well. His energy levels, his ability to, he can pick out a pass. He's not a sensational passer. You won't be able, he won't play it through the eye of a needle, but he's a good central midfielder who isn't just a destroyer or a Lee Catamol kind of guy. He can play as well. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do think he's had quite a good kind of year, to be honest with you. He had a good Euro, he had a good end to last season, and he does seem to be quite a good key cog in the Spurs midfield. So yeah, I'm gonna apologize about the Partey shout. Hey, look, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. This guy has not been serious. I'm gonna come back to you guys again.
Let me not lie. Even as Arsenal fans, we think he's taking the piss, bro. Because I see him I know he didn't see girls like this in Madrid, bro. Every weekend he's at a different motive. He's actually pissed. If I see him at WizKid in November, I'm going to be annoyed as well, bro. Because this guy is always out every weekend. Hey,
listen, man. When it comes to WizKid, I can understand it. I can understand
it. He's just a baby boy trying to live his life, Yeah,
he's really living his life, boy.
Fair enough. So, guys, we're at that time now. The famous time. Everybody's favorite moment of the show. The moment where the shamelessness comes out. The real war comes out. We are at the combined 11. Guys, before I start, I'm going to have to ask you guys. I'm going to go around. I'm going to ask you guys. So, what we do this based off? Because obviously, the season's quite early on. So are we going to do this based off of last season? Consider last season as well as this season, or do you guys want to go straight off of form?
We'll vibe. We'll
vibe. I feel like we're fairly sensible gentlemen. Agendas must agenda, but you must also have some decorum at the same time. I feel it will be an amalgamation of back end of last season, current season, availability, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. So what formation are we going with, boys? 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. What are we feeling?
4-3-3. I'm happy with.
4-3-3.
4-3-3. Yeah. All right. Goalkeeper. I'm going to start with you, Jack. Who we going with in goal?
I ain't going with that Ramsgate guy, Lloris.
Fair enough. And Ohio, who are you going to be going with?
Yeah, it has to be Lloris, man. World Cup winner. You know what I'm saying? Capitan. It's the only sensible answer. Like, let's at least start with some decorum.
Yeah, it's very convincing, and Cougs, I can see that very, very sneaky smile on your face. I mean, you got something cooking right now, and I want to hear it, man. I want to hear it. What have you got for me?
No, I'm actually not going to move Shameless, because that would literally, I can't allow myself to do this. I'd have to delete bare tweets in it. So, yeah, we'll give him Lloris in it. Give him Lloris only because Leno fell off in it. Only because Leno fell off.
And Sean, just for good effect, I'm going to go with you. Who you go with?
I would have backed the shamelessness still, but no, it's but no, Lloris.
Okay, Lloris, fair enough. So let's start from the left back. Sean, I'm going to come back to you. Who are we going about left back?
Oh yeah, Tierney, bro. Tierney. Let's not
Tierney. Okay, fair enough.
Because what reggaeton? No, please. Like how I said, let's have decorum here, please. Let's have decorum.
Yeah. Let's have decorum.
Yeah. It's 100% Tierney. We're not having regular Don in there. We're not doing that. Let's just be serious here. We gave you Lloris. You do the honourable thing as well. Return. Cool.
I mean, personally, I'm not expecting anything honourable. I'm just expecting vibes. You guys want vibes? I'm gonna hand it over to you. So, Ohio, who will you go with at left back?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, like I appreciate we're doing like a best 11, not like best 11 to last 3 games consecutive. So I guess I have to put Tierney in because it's one game. Like, because we know like in the 60th minute of the second game he's gonna go off in pain because he turns up to training in the snow in his t-shirt and his Tesco bag, and everyone thinks he's a wavy gone for it. So yeah, we'll have Tierney, I guess KT as they call him.
Fair enough. And Jack,
Ben Davis. Yeah, it's got to be you. It's got to be you. It's going to be Tierney, innit? Yeah.
it's got to be Tierney. Fair enough. That's 1-1. That's 1-1. And right back, this could be an interesting one. It'll be a very, very interesting one. Cougs, who we go with from your side?
Yeah, I'll go with Tomiyasu. I'm not having any Spurs right backs, to be honest. I think of what we've seen so far, I don't think people have really watched Emerson or Tomiyasu too much. But the alternatives, Doherty, Cedric, Chambers, all of that, I think in terms of how they started their respective careers, got to be Tomiyasu for me, 100.
That's an interesting comment there from the NSO is very on top. He said regular is Higgy. Trust me on this. That's pretty worrying, coming from your very own Tottenham fan. But we will digress. We'll leave that for now. We'll come back to that later. Sharon, who are we going about right back?
Yeah, no, I agree with Dan. I feel like both teams will probably agree that like they both had like a lot of Higgy right backs recently. A lot of them have looked all very, very suspect. But yeah, Tomiyasu for me, definitely. If it's just head to head with him and Emerson so far, I'm picking Tomiyasu every day of the week.
I think that's fair enough. And Ohio, who are we going with?
I think it's interesting. Everyone's been doing head to head between Tomiyasu and Emerson because for the big games, if you want someone to lock it up on the right, you play Japhet Tanganga every time. Like Tomiyasu's not been here that long. He has looked good. Let me not lie, he's not looked good. He's looked good. But like Sai just said in the comments, he's flavor of the month. Whatever flavor tiramisu you want to call him, that's what it is for now. It might go a bit stale soon. So, he's locked up Mane. He's locked up he locked up Grealish and Sterling on his own against City. So I've got to go with Tanganga for this one.
I think that's a fair enough shout. And Jack, who are you going to go with?
Yeah, it's funny how the Arsenal are always good, doing a 1v1 versus Emerson, but just ignoring, putting Japhet on the side there. It's Japhet, man.
Who is Japhet, man? Who is he, man? Like let's be serious here.
I thought that Donny was a centre back.
Yeah, it's not even a right back.
So did every agent in the Prem about Tomiyasu as well. So here we are.
Wow.
Them man don't watch ball, bro. He played every game for Bologna at right back last season, bro.
Wow. So some are saying he was offered out like a. Let me never say it, but yeah. Let's just say he was offered out quite a bit.
Tanganga, man. Like, look, yeah, this isn't some OFB 11, yeah. So let's just be serious, innit? Yeah? Let's be serious. Stop it.
So you guys have both put very compelling arguments. I will not lie. I've been very, very impressed with Tomiyasu's overall play. I think he's a very good ball player. 1v1, he does seem like someone that doesn't get beaten quite a bit. But if we're talking about this and last season, I'm not going to be honest. I didn't watch Bologna. All right, I didn't watch Bologna. And from what I've seen from Japhet Tanganga, defending against City, Liverpool, City again this season, I don't think it was even that bad against Palace as a red card. I think it's quite a tight one. But if I had to be totally honest, if it was up to me picking a right back, I'm gonna have to go Tomiyasu. I'm sorry. I need somebody. I need someone that's a bit more competent on the ball. That's
Norwich
just me.
and Burnley, Right.
Hey, listen, man.
Don't worry, man. Look at Tomiyasu. He's 2-footed. He wins every aerial duel.
Every area
Against Norwich and Burnley, okay.
And he's by the way, he's agile. He's solid. When Son gets padlocked tomorrow, we'll come back to this, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We'll spin the block.
That's a big shout, man. And boys, Discord tomorrow is going to be popping.
Man was balling against Bolognese and everyone's gassed. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Fair enough. So next we're going to go centre back. So let's say we're going to do centre back pairings. Actually, should we go centre back? Actually, no. You know what? Let's do centre back pairings. Let's do centre back pairings. So Jack, who are you feeling to start with in your back line?
I'll say Romero and Gabriel. I think.
Wow, you weren't shameless there. I've got to respect it. Fair enough.
Serie A centre back of the year. He's looked good for us so far. I mean, had a bit of an iffy start, but against what's it called, Paco Rabanne FC. But overall, I think he's been good. I think he's been good with Dyer as well. I think, you know, what Nuno's done with the centre backs, you know, look much more structured, and I think I like his aggression as well as a defender, and I think that's something we've been missing. Someone who's got that level of composure, but also aggression, who can push up the pitch a little bit. So yeah, and I think, you know, Gabriel, you know, we've seen him last season. When he does get to play, you know, we saw in the derby as well. He locked off our forwards. So admittedly, you know, I'll put him there as well. You know.
Fair enough. It's interesting you picked a centre back that even that Arsenal's manager doesn't seem to really fancy. So I mean, you know, I think it's fair enough. It's fair enough. Ahaya, who are you going with your defensive pairing?
I was going to put Saliba in, but he's not here. So
there was no need of that.
That just wasn't even needed, man. That just wasn't even needed. But extra points for that. Extra points for that.
But yeah, no, just literally try. I'm going to try not to parrot everything Jack just said. It's got to be Gabriel Romero. He's one of the, even though in Sanchez and Dyer's defense they have looked, you know, pretty decent. He's probably the only centre back we have where I don't really panic when he's on the ball or he's defending. He looks pretty solid. Like again, he had a bit of a rough first game, but so did Thiago Silva. It happens to the best. It gets like that sometimes. And yeah, like him and Gabriel.
Whisper that one. I've got something hot for you later on.
Him and Gabriel, I think would be I think they'd complement each other quite well. Obviously, Gabriel would be the little man of the two. You know, Romero would be leading in this situation. But yeah, Gabriel Romero.
Fair enough. And Sean, who are you going with as a centre back period? Are you going to be shameless or are you going to?
Do you know what? Yeah, even me, like my shamelessness can't hold any bounds because I hate all of Arsenal centre backs right now, apart from Gabriel. So the one I want obviously is Saliba as well. So yeah, I'll go Gabriel and Romero too. I won't argue.
Fair enough. And Cougs.
Yeah, these men have said it all. I think Gabriel's probably the best centre back of the lot, and after that, I'll probably rate Romero second. So yeah, that's calm with me.
Fair enough. I mean, personally, if you guys tried to sneak in Eric Dyer in there, hey, I may have been hearing it, you know, after the start of this season, but you know, but to be totally honest, yeah, it has got to be Gabriel Romero. I don't think Romero, especially, is going to be a good signing for Tottenham, and hopefully he slips up a couple of times, but you know, we'll get into that a bit later on. But yeah, so we're going to help. So our back four so far is Lloris in goal, Tierney at left back, Tomiyasu at right back, and Gabriel and I almost said Saliba. Oh, I forgot about him. Gabriel and Romero at centre back. Cool. So next we're going with the DM spot. You know, this is a very, very key spot in the team. You know, people do say, you know, your DM does tend to, you know, really, really signify the identity of your team. You know, when we look around, you know, the teams in the Premier League, and we can really see who's struggling and who's really making an impact. So I'm going to start with you, Jack. Who would you like to have in the number 6 position?
It's only one man, the Danish Viking, PEH, man. Højbjerg.
Fair enough.
He's probably in that midfield.
You don't even sound enthusiastic when you're saying that, Jack, man.
I like there was no bass in your voice. Say it with confidence. Say it with your chest.
Listen, I'm a very, you know, monotone person, you see. You know, so, this is as enthusiastic as it will get. So yeah, Højbjerg, man, he's been the best midfield performer out of all from both teams, I'd say, in the past year. So it's definitely got to be him. I mean, you can't put a man that doesn't even play in there, so it's got to be Højbjerg.
Fair enough. That's a well put point. And guys, you know, if you're here, make sure you hit up the Touchline Fracas on Spotify page. You know, the Touchline Hotspur boys. You know, they've been going on fire with the podcast, and you know, if you want to hear more from Jack, especially, go down and subscribe. So, Ohio, who are we going with next?
You know, being a Nigerian man, I think it would be a bit odd for me to pick a Ghanaian to start at the 6. But that aside, I think I'm going to go for Pierre, the only Pierre that we care about in North London, Pierre Højbjerg. I think, do you know what it is? Yeah, I respect Partey highly as a player. I just think it's very, very strange how Donny never got injured when he was playing under Simeone, and he suddenly come to the bright lights of North London. He's seen a little Mayfair, a little pergola in Paddington, probably stayed at King's Cross St. Pancras Hotel 1-2 times with some beanies. And
so sounds like you got some experience there, Ohio.
Yeah,
we'll leave that for later.
Listen, I'll talk too much, but you know, he's just. I think he's proper good as a player, but from hobbling off on a counter attack in the North London derby, like that's just unacceptable behavior, man. You do what you have to do. You fall over, you run into the referee, you fake an epileptic fit if you have to. Like you do something to stop the counter. You know, if you're a manager to try and push you back on, it's a bit too shameless behavior for my liking. And like we said, Hojbjerg, he had a fire Euros. He's showing people more and more what he's about. So I want to go Hojbjerg starting DM.
You know what? Fair enough. I do hear your points. And yeah, that's it. There's been a couple of interesting messages from German Dan. You know, he seems to be landing the chat. But yeah, Sharon, who are we going with in the sixth position?
There's no way I'm having some tattoo artist starting for me as a team. Me with my pregnancy belly, you can put me there, brother, and I can go and kick people as well. Get him out of here, man. No chance, bro. I heard, Sai said what? Party page. Even though he was injured, he still played 25 league games last season, bro. He can play, bro. And really and truthfully, his top level is clear of any midfielder of either team. So Party starts at 6. That's it, bro. Party starts at 6.
Fair enough. And Cougs to end it
off. I feel like Hojbjerg, he's done all right. He's done his thing for Spurs. I don't think he's been bad in any case, but I just think when we're talking about proper midfielders, you know, Thomas Partey, he's clear of him. You know, like if we're just talking football here, yeah. Like Hojbjerg, whatever you want to call him, he can't chat to my man Thomas in it. You know, TP5. That's a serious world-class midfielder right there. Rolls Royce of a midfield, does everything that you want from a midfielder, man. Wins the ball, dribbles, carries it, sprays passes. World-class ability, world-class play. That's what you see from him. So, boy, that's the only answer. It's actually the only answer.
Like, TP5. That sounds like a suntan lotion factor.
Well, to be fair, it looks like Hojbjerg needs that, mate. Do you know what I mean? That guy is paler than boy. Listen, that guy's hella pale, bro. Yes, let it be some suntan factor lotion, bro. There's no excuse for anyone else being picked above Party. I can't lie. You can't even shame us that one, bro, because ability-wise, impact-wise, when they played on the pitch, put it this way, is Hojbjerg's not had a better performance than Party did at Old Trafford last season, or a better performance than Party did at Stamford Bridge last season. Impossible. So there's no way it can be above that.
Shone, you made a comment about Party's availability last year when you said he had 25 games. How many were starts again?
I don't know. You want me to go and?
I just did my homework. It was 24 games, 18 starts, 6 off the bench. So he's just not as durable as you led us to believe. I just wanted to let people know that was all.
That was very convincing, because I'm not gonna lie, I was dead set on having Partey there, but hey, look, man, availability.
I'm telling you now, Babs, I will rip that afro off your head. Yeah.
Availability is the best ability, you know. It is the best ability, but guess what? Pure ability in football, that's what I'm here to see, man. And for me personally, I'm going to have to go with Partey in the 6. I'm sorry, you know, Hojbjerg, whatever his name is, he's been good. But when I look at a midfielder like Partey, his ability to, you know, cover spaces. Obviously, he's not as quick as others, but his ability to play the ball, really actually dictate play. He could do the box-to-box role, he could do the 6 role, the 4. Man, that's just a modern midfielder for me personally, and I'd have to have him, you know, in my number 6 position. I can see you, Kuj. You're gonna get very irate there, but you know, that's what you got to let me finish. You got to let me finish, man. You got to let me finish.
You saw sense in the end because I was about to spin the block, bro. You saw sense. Bro. You carry on.
But yeah, so now we're gonna come to the twin 8 positions. I'm gonna go with the first midfielder option. So, Cougs, since you were so rearing to go, who are you gonna go with over there?
So what? Just one or two, or both of them?
You know what? Let's go with 2.
For me, Smith Rowe and Odegaard, they get in there. I'm sorry, Spurs after Hojbjerg, your midfielders, they're not really cutting it for me. Lo Celso, complete flop, been utter shit for you, man. For the 2 years that he's been here.
You didn't lie.
And Ndombele, you know, you're talking about Partey's availability, but Ndombele's is even worse as far as I'm concerned.
Played 10 more games than him last year and has already got more minutes this
How
season.
many starts? How many starts? How many starts?
28.
And how many 90
How many 90 minutes, bro? How many times did he come off after 60?
Should we calculate the total minutes? We can do
I
that.
don't. I'm asking you a question. How many times did he come off after 60 minutes?
Sir, give me 5 minutes.
How many? Yeah. When whilst he's doing that, yeah. So we know that Ndombele is not a 90-minute player. I know he's got ability, this, that, and the other. But
He's completed some 90 minutes recently.
I think football's about it's about two ways, you know. It's what you do on the ball and what you do off it. And I feel, you know, off the ball, Ndombele might be one of the worst midfielders in the league. You know,
I think that's genuinely really disingenuous when you literally look at his goal against Wolves. He pressed 2 man off the ball, dubs.
Yeah, and then I look at the 2 goals that he conceded against.
So that's fine.
And that's what I'm saying. Football
it's not what you were saying. No, it's not what you were saying. You said off the ball. It's one or the other. Because he lost. Hold on. He lost the ball for 2 goals, correct? But he was on the ball for 2 goals, correct? What we were talking about was off the ball, correct? So we're now talking about off the ball, and you said he's non-existent. He's a ghost. He's El Chapo. It's fine, but that's not true. That's what I'm saying.
Let me bring up the tapes. Yeah, we've seen him blowing, running back, trying to chase back. Yeah, that's not an odd occasion. You know, that's every game. That's why he doesn't get played. That's why he doesn't get picked. That's why Jose Mourinho is turning up at his yard to let him do extra training. You get what
That's why man's going for runs in North London. Which park was he running in during lockdown? What part was he running in?
Paul's Cross.
Man was running through Hampstead Heath, blowing with a 50-year-old manager telling him, "Come on, let's go."
Mourinho was running faster than him.
Showing behavior, man. Decorum, please. Decorum.
You know, pure ability, man. Like, pure ability. In that sketch, fam. He's like, you will never make it. You know, if you don't buck up. You know, so
you have no future.
I'm saying, and then if you're talking on the ball quality as well, I think Ødegaard, you know, we know his ability. You know, top chance creator. Smith Rowe, we know what he's about. He's better than every other midfielder that Spurs have as well. Dele Alli, let's not even mention this guy. So, you know, Ødegaard and Smith Rowe, man, no brainer.
Fair enough. And Sharon, are you feeling the same? Do you want to change up a bit? Are there any other midfielders you want to include in instead?
I mean, to be honest, I would even give Spurs the opportunity. But when you have man like what's the crisp Skips, and you have what's the other one, Winks, and brother, are these even midfielders? And then you have Bamidele, who shortened his name. He doesn't even claim he's Nigerian. He doesn't play centre mid. Who else? Lo Celso. That guy might as well be playing for real. Oviedo, because he's crap. His level, we've seen it. It's not there. Who else have you got centre mid? That's it, right? Jesus is Lord, bro. Obviously, we've spoken about Ndombele. So really and truthfully, even if you didn't, by default, it has to be ESR and Ødegaard, because what are the other options? Who else have you, man, got? I'm asking. No. Give me the options. Who else have you, man, got?
Babs, should I just tag myself in here?
Go for it, man. I'm enjoying this.
I think it's very cute. You, man, have just picked the Milky Bar kids in midfield. That's fine. You can do that. And it's also interesting. You're naming all these midfielders that none of us respect on Touchline Hotspur. That's like us saying, "Oh, how are you going to put El Neni there? How are you going to put Xhaka there?" That is literally the equivalent of what you're doing.
And that's fine.
I quietly respect it. I quietly respect what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I like it.
And I hear it. So if you don't respect it, how come you put them there? So if you're telling us that you don't respect them,
we're not picking Winks. Okay. I'm sure I can speak for Jack when I say we're not picking Winks.
Okay.
It's not Skip's time yet.
Okay.
We're not picking Lo Celso. Jack might actually be the head of the anti-Lo Celso defense league. Like, I think he's the chief. Now, I think it's genuinely, shout out Dysonomics for this. I think it's egregious that you're picking both of those 2 boys ahead of Ndombele, who is technically clear of both of them. I like Ødegaard. I said what I said. I like Ødegaard.
I wouldn't disagree either. I'm being neutral, but you know.
But if you want to pick the best team, like, you know what? I cannot pretend Ndombele is going to play 90 minutes 3 times in 2 weeks. Let's not lie here, okay? The condition needs a bit of work. You know, I might have a word with him. I'm studying physio at the moment. I might be able to bust him soon. Pause. However, you can't put Smith Rowe and Ødegaard, because they'll just get run over. They will quite literally just get stampeded out of the way. Do you know what I'm saying? So one of them has to be Ndombele.
So what's your midfield too? Ndombele and who?
I would probably go, and this is just preference. I know some people can have a toss up between Smith Rowe and Ødegaard. For me personally, I'd probably go Ndombele, as the right of those two, and then Smith Rowe on the left of those two. Personally,
you're being very honourable there. Fair enough. And I'm Jack. Who are you going to go with?
I was going to say exactly the same thing because again, our midfield, it's dead, but Ndombele is clear of all yours, so he's got to be in there. And I mean, you're talking about also pure footballers. You know, if Ndombele's not there for fitness, then that's completely contradicting what Partey was in there for as well. So Ndombele has to be in there.
That's a very good point.
So I mean, Odegaard, the guy can't even create chances for you lot. Yes, you know what Tobe said about him being a tip top, or what Dan said about him being a tip top creator or whatnot. Is that true? We got
interesting message from Tapping Toes.
I mean, to be fair, if we want to bring up impact, he scored against Spurs in the North London derby last season.
Wow, that's a good reminder. I needed that one. Thank you for that, Sean.
You're welcome. You also scored the winner last week, by the way. If we're talking impact, scored a lovely free kick from 30 yards.
And in between,
he wasn't our player. Abby, we signed him. He also actually he had a performance where we were 3-0 down to West Ham. How many chances did he create that day, Dan? How many chances did he create against West Ham when he single-handedly dragged us from 3-0 down to draw 3-3 by himself, basically? By himself.
Give me a performance like that from Ndombele in his 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one performance.
You know what? I'm going to give it to the Touchline Hotspur boys. I want to hear this. What was his performance?
Listen, anytime we've always gone on about any time on the pod. We don't need to recall specific games. It's fine.
No, you do. You do.
Let's make it bigger in specific games.
Our players,
because
Chelsea in the League Cup.
Smith Rowe, Chelsea at home. Smith Rowe, Chelsea at home. They couldn't.
Spurs at home.
Spurs at home.
Because we're talking impact. The last time we played, ESR and Odegaard dunked on both you, man. Where was Ndombele?
Ndombele started that match.
But what were they doing? Who had the impact?
It's entirely accurate about dunks, because when I hear dunked, I'm hearing like that's like a triple dub.
Brother, I remember that game. Like the back of my hand. Lamela scored a Rabona against the game of play. What actually happened in that game? Really, what happened in that game? Because Spurs did not see the ball for the first 80 minutes of that game.
We just weren't good. Exactly. Tobes even said it. Your own fans were calling him Midgard. Like, if that's coming from your
Toby, you can lie, Sha.
I've heard that.
Toby knows. Lee Gunner doesn't speak for the fan base. You get me? So let's leave that one out.
I mean, fair enough.
Either way, man. That Real Madrid went downhill to Sociedad, then went further down to Arsenal.
We haven't heard them say the game. So that says
we already said Chelsea League Up.
The evidence is there, Your Honor. The evidence is there.
Premier League.
So now it's first it was one game. Now it's the Prem.
Who's watching that?
Please stay focused.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised none of you guys said Højbjerg. I keep calling him Oilberg, just a mess of my memory, but I'm surprised none of you guys called for Højbjerg. But yeah, because I would have gone with him personally. I genuinely would have gone with him. I genuinely would have gone with him, but these guys did talk about impact, and for me, the first thing
them Milky Bar kids.
Wait, let me finish. The first midfielder I think is hard, to argue against bringing in ESR. I think he's definitely got to be the first one, to come in. The second midfielder for me personally, it's got to be Ndombele. Again, not just because of like what we said in terms of like impact, ability. We're combining all. And if we're going to go just off availability as well, would Partey be in it? So for me personally, I think that's an all right midfield. I'm not sure if it would work on an actual match day. I feel like Partey will probably drown a bit, but. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Tobes. I'm surprised, I'm surprised Pierre was omitted, but I'm gonna have to go with ESR and Ndombele.
Babs, just to answer German Dan when he said our fans wanted Tongi sold, where do you go from here? There's a certain type of Spurs fan that wanted Tongi sold. Is
it similar to the type of Arsenal fan that they didn't want them to buy Odegaard in the permanent?
I think that's a fair criteria to match the type of fans to.
Fair enough. So yeah, let's get to the nitty gritty, the final third of the pitch. This is where you guys seem to be struggling. So I'm going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough for me to pick somebody. But yeah, let's start with the right wing. guys, who are we going with here?
You want to start and stop with the right wing? Because that'll be the end of it, right?
Oh, that's that stick talk right there. Cougs, are you gonna have that? Who are you gonna have in the right wing?
No, I think the rest of the team it basically picks itself in it really. Saka, Kane, Son as a front three. That's what I go with. It's calm.
Fair enough. And Sean, who are you going to go with the right wing?
Yeah, I don't disagree. It would be very, very hard to be shameless to pick anyone over Kane and Son. So I can't do that. Even my shamelessness doesn't stretch that far. So that left wing and the striker spot, it goes to them. But yeah, I will argue that I'm not picking anyone above Saka for the right wing. Definitely not. So yeah, 100%.
Fair enough. And Ohio, who are you going with the right wing? Convince me.
I'm gonna go for Lucas Moura personally on the right hand side. On the right hand side, I think he started the season brilliantly. I think he was so good, especially in Kane's absence. I think he actually looked because one thing that worried me was that with Lamela leaving the team, who was gonna acquire the Bozo gene in final third, and Lucas was gonna be the most susceptible because we called him Bonehead the entirety of last season. But no, he just looks the most intense, the most dangerous. For such a small man, he's really, really good in the air. He's not. I wouldn't put him in the certain stratosphere in terms of finishes as some of the best players in the league, but I think he's a quietly underrated finisher in terms of snapshots and scrappy goals when needs be. I think his interplay has really improved this season as well. So, and I think Saka's just got a bit of a Wembley hangover in the politest way of speaking. So I'm going to go with Lucas Moura.
Fair enough. And Jack, who are you going to go with?
You definitely have to call out Saka for allowing Boneheads to perform a level above him because it's the same front three for me. Lucas, Kane, Son. Again, it's more to do with Saka being having
he's been ass.
He's been terrible. He's been shite. He's still thinking about that. He's still got that Wembley hangover, and yeah. We're taking everything.
If Ndombele is in that team of zero impact, proper performances, if he's in there off ability alone, Saka is in there. I beg, please. Even with that Wembley hangover, the impact he will have on the game is greater than that of that one that his hair is receding back to hell. I bet.
Sean, I'm not even going to dignify.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's not even worth the debate because you want me to
that shamelessness. To be honest, we tried to do the right thing, get it moving quick. You just decided you wanted to play in the mud. Nonsense.
No, you
guys have put some really good points there. I've it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. For me, obviously, ability wise, Saka.
It's not a tough choice for right wing. Do the honourable thing.
Excuse me. I'm the host here. Right? And Saka, ability wise, it's quite hard, not to pick him. But then you look at Lucas's form, ending last season, beginning this season. He's played in multiple positions now. He's really doing well out wide from Spurs. Seems to be quite a big cog for them. But yeah, I mean, listen, for me personally, as shameless as I want to be and pick Saka, I'm gonna have to pick. I'm joking. I'm going Saka. It's got to be Saka right wing. It has to be. I wanted to try and be a bit of suspense, but I've got to be honest here. I've literally got to be honest here. It has to be him. Ability wise, he's there. Personally, I don't think he's the best of wingers. I don't really think he's a winger, but he's probably the best choice that probably is going to go there. So let's go over to the left.
He's going to take Zinchenko's shirt in a couple of years anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, fair enough. What are you saying? We'll win a couple of titles for once, yeah?
I mean, if it happens, Kane will have gone first, so Saka will just go and join him. So
that's a nice little link up, as some would say. So yeah, let's start. Let's go to the left wing. So, I mean, do you guys? Let's just make it quick and easy. Who are we gonna have, you guys? Let's be honest here.
It's the king of XG, Son Heung-min.
I don't think there's a debate here. I think it's got to be a universal answer. This one, a unanimous one.
It can't be respectfully. It can't be Pepe. Willian has just gone. It would have been funny to try and shoehorn him in there, but no.
Martinelli.
Do you know what I mean? Martinelli, and then Reece Nelson. Then man, this is what was happening when we were talking about midfield. So I have to do the same thing. And then the other Pierre Don.
Cougs.
Hey, No. I'm going to be straight. I said my front three already. To be fair, so I'll just keep it. I'll keep it like that. I don't think we need to go back and forth on that. To be honest, maybe SVR Pepe might have something to say in it. So.
Let me not even lie. Yeah, I just did a quick search to try and check Pepe's numbers. They were looking all right last season, and I was like, let me see how many league goals Son scored. And I was like, bro, they even tried, bro.
It's
not even worth the comparison, bro. I saw 17 league goals from Son. I said, yeah, Sean, forget that one, bro. Let them have that one. I can't argue that one.
I bet up top, Sean, who are you going to go with?
Brad James. Well, do you know what? No, I can't. Bro, if Aubameyang hadn't been a bum last season, I would have argued this one. But
100%.
He bummed it out too much that I've got no energy to argue his case. I beg, just put Kane in and let's keep it moving.
Genuine question, because I haven't checked. How many league goals did Aubameyang actually score last year?
I think 10 league goals.
10. I'll say hit double. Okay, fairs.
You sound quite surprised.
I genuinely had no idea how many he'd hit. I genuinely didn't think he'd hit 10. But
that's all right for him, I think.
Yeah. So are we all going to go with Kane up top unanimously?
Yeah.
So let's read off the team. So in goal we've got Lloris.
Yeah.
Right back Tomiyasu. Left back Tierney. Our two centre backs are Tomiyasu, Romero and Gabriel. In midfield we got Partey. We've got Ndombele, and we've got ESR, and up top we've got Saka, Kane, and Son. So it looks as though the Touchy Gooners just narrowly edged it in terms of winning the combined 11. So
many susceptible decisions there.
Wow, Tomiyasu one especially. I'm thinking.
I mean,
hey, listen, man.
I actually don't think so. Really.
After what I've said, we'll see at the end of the season, yeah. But I can't.
We'll see at the end of the season.
If we're judging by both games, what I've seen of them so far, I'm not swapping, bro. And I even just I like Tomiyasu looks better technically than Emerson to me.
They realise Burnley and Norwich are elite teams, man. My word.
Damn, fair enough, man.
Young Dwight McNeil and that. He's good. But I like Dwight McNeil actually. I'm not going to cast him out.
But yeah, so looking on to tomorrow's, I'm going to get a prediction from you guys, before we get ready to wrap up. So, Cougs, Sean, how are you feeling the game's going to go? What's the score prediction you guys are going to go with?
I'm going to go. All seriousness, I think it will be. I said at the start that I think both teams, from what I've seen, the Spurs guys will correct me if I'm wrong, but Spurs haven't come back when they've gone a goal down, and the XG against Spurs doesn't look good this season. So for me, it looks like Spurs need to get ahead and they need to get something to hold on to. Spurs don't look to be good chasers, but at the same time, I can't lie, Arsenal under Arteta aren't good chasers either. So I feel like it will be a game of, whoever might get the first goal. I mean, I might be completely wrong because Derby form sometimes goes out the window, but I'm going to make a prediction and I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal.
Fair enough. And Cougs?
Yeah, I was mulling over this in the car earlier today because I think both teams have clearly struggled to score goals this season. Arsenal, I think, have scored 2. Spurs have scored 3. So it's not really looking good for an exciting game. But what I would say is that both teams do like to rise it for the North London derby. I don't expect Kane to still be sulking. And we know that him and Son can pop it off. So I think one of them will probably score. But I do think that, we'll dominate the ball and it will depend on whether or not we can fashion some chances. I think that Spurs defence can be got at. So I think this might be a game where we do score more than one goal. So I'm going to say Arsenal win 2-1.
Fair enough. That's quite different from your prediction in the podcast, if I'm correct. I remember you going 1-1, but maybe. So that's what. So your confidence is a bit. You're feeling it now. You're feeling
basically
it
you get closer and closer to the game. You start feeling a bit, Anyhow, tomorrow, after I've had like my pre-match beverages, I'm probably going to be saying we're going to smash them 5-0. I'm a passion merchant, so.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And how are you feeling? Because we do know you guys' record at the Emirates hasn't been exactly good. So do you think you can change it?
It hasn't been the greatest. No, we have lost 2 league games 3-0 back to back. And being a level-headed Spurs fan, it is actually written for us to lose 3 games by conceding 3 goals consecutively for the first time in our history. But you know what I mean? It's the North London derby. And also Nuno teams just don't really like scoring in the first half. I think the stat is now 84 times Nuno has been a Premier League manager out of 116, and his team hasn't scored in the first half.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's not particularly positive statistics. But like I said, Son loves a low XG shot from 30 yards out. So one of those will probably go in, say about the 17-minute mark. Højbjerg will kick somebody. Partey will probably hobble off because he's hungover from going out in Paddington. I think we'll nick it 2. I think we'll nick it 2-1. Fuck it.
And Jack.
Do you know what? I think both teams have struggled to score, as we've said. I think both teams' profiles of managers. I think it will be a cage for a North London derby. I think it will be quite a cagey affair. I don't think both teams will want to overcommit bodies going forward. And I think in terms of creativity, both teams are lacking as well. So I'm going to be optimistic and say 0-0. I'm not going to lie. I think,
optimistic and say 0-0. Fair enough.
I'll admit that, but that's because both. Listen, this is like a tallest dwarf micro penis measuring contest. This game, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's just gonna be a shit show.
Europa Conference playoff, innit? That's what it is.
Basically,
that's what it is. When was even the last 0-0 North London derby?
2009.
Yeah,
I think it was at White Hart Lane.
I think it was. Yeah.
It's not to be before these sort of managers. It would be a high scoring game. You could bank on goals in it, but you're not sure. Like you're gonna. I'd be surprised if we see more than 3 goals tomorrow, like max. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it'll definitely be a low scoring game. It could go either way, but yeah, I think we'll take it.
Definitely. That's a good way to wrap up the show. But guys, listeners, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Follow Touchy Gooners on Twitter. Follow the Touchline Hotspur boys on Twitter. And make sure to head over to the Discord tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Be there sharp. There will be bows. I can promise you that. So, boys, make sure you head over there. But, guys, thanks for joining me.
Cheers, boys.
It was good.
Thanks again, guys.